joined Humanostics early this year. I know one of the founders, Morten. He's a friend of mine out from Singapore, and the industry I was in is lighting industry entertainment, which was, of course, very, very hard hit during the COVID. So I had plenty of time on my hands since none of my clients had any money to spend and all the big events, etc. were closed down. So Morten, he knew me personally and he said, isn't it anything for you? You know, we have this fantastic product and all this. I said, well, I know you've been trying to get me to do it for years to find out who I am, even that you know me. But if I should look into this, then of course I need to know the product. So I did the behavioral and the cognitive test, and I've done quite a few of these things in my past for my jobs, different jobs, and I found this to be the easiest and the fastest and at least as precise as anything else I've had, maybe even a little bit better, but very close to the more, you know, in-depth tools that I've been tested on or assessed on in the past. So I said, well, it's definitely interesting, and I have the time, and I have a fairly big network being out in Singapore for 25 years. I then went through the certification. The whole process I found really interesting, and I must say it was done online due to the COVID, and the whole Humanostics team was super professional, and it was a great experience. And for me, it was nice to learn some new skills and adapt them on other people as well. So that was how I got into it, and then start digging into my network slowly, not massively, just talking to people when I met up with them and said, I'm starting this new gig and quite interesting. And if people then kind of showed a little bit of interest, then I did like with them as I was done with myself, I put them through the behavioral assessment and the cognitive assessment, and then I did the analytics instead of sending them a report, met up with them and then told them a bit about themselves, which they of course more or less knew, but they were always very, very, you know, like, wow, you can really tell me that much from 4 graphs. So that was always been my starting point, which is also what Humanostic have said that's the best way to get into it, and that is definitely how it worked for me as well. So that was how it all started, and then my whole industry have picked up, but I definitely have enough time to keep doing this because I find it extremely interesting as well. So that's the route into it, and something that I'm gonna do, I think, many years going forward, as long as I can find some new prospects. If I've been contacted, I've had a few people who looked us up on the Humanostic homepage and then contacted. So I normally would give them a quick call if I don't know them, introduce myself, and kind of just soften the waters a little bit, and then tell them that I would always prefer that one or two of them, depending on how many decision makers there are, they go through the assessments first, and then before we really take a chat about what our product can give them, I want them to be feeling good about that the product that we have is actually something that they also can be behind, in terms of like, well, that actually shows me and not, you know, someone else. So that has always been the entry point. And then from there, the conversation then opens up, and, you know, talk about the organization. I want to find out a little bit on how they're going to use it. And then from there, normally, I have to send them a quote, and then the real discussion then starts from there. When I spoke to Morten initially, I said, you know, I'm not the guy who like to do cold canvas. I never been that guy in anything I've done. It's always been long-term relationship, doing business on trust and honesty, integrity. And this is why I basically don't go out there. I don't ring any doorbells. I meet people, I talk to people, I'm enthusiastic about it, but the only advice I can say is it's a great product, and if you believe in it and you talk to people about it, you will succeed. It can take time. I think I've been relatively lucky in terms of closing quite a few deals, not the biggest deals ever, but you know, quite a few deals, and which of course also makes it a little bit more fun and gives you a little bit more energy in terms of trying to do more. But the only advice is, you know, be yourself, believe in the product, and then just be 100% honest. Don't try to oversell it, because the product in itself is really good. When I travel, it takes up a lot of time, but I'm always available on the phone, and due to internet and all that, you can always check emails wherever you are. So I will be able to respond to clients. But on a weekly basis, I mean, I check in every day. I follow up with the people who are my clients. Every time I meet new people, I talk about this. If they are sitting in a position where they have employees, or they're related to HR, or the company basically maybe could get into this. So there's there's weeks where I spend quite a few hours. There's weeks where I spend 3-4 hours. But it all depends on where I'm in the process with the client. It all depends on what comes back from the current clients I have. So it's very flexible. It has been, I would say, it's been relatively easy. I mean, I've also been lucky to find some companies who had a budget and a need and were ready to invest into it. So some luck for sure, but going with your own network makes a big difference. I must say I'm very blessed with some fast and very good support from Denmark when I need it. In general, there has been very few issues, and when there has been an issue, a quick email back to headquarter, and I basically get an answer within minutes. Normally, either they're on it or they come with a solution to the problem. So far, again, I only started signing people up this year, so the support side has been relatively limited. So if they wanted to be an associate, I can only tell them about my experience and how fulfilling it has been on a level of a learning curve, learning some new things. After I've had a pretty decent career running companies and all that, and it's just nice to pick up some new skills and some new challenges, which it is to a certain extent. And then of course, there's also a financial upside to this. When you sign people on, you do make some money. So if someone should consider it, I can only highly recommend to get in there.